Philadelphia. Blessed new year coming up, 2021. As we say in Panama, this is Old Year's night. It makes sense, right? So thank you so much for joining me. I just wanted to come on here as we say goodbye, farewell to the year 2021. 2021 was an amazing year because when we first went into the COVID dilemma, like 3 weeks after the real shutdown, I went into recognizing that this was a universal timeout. And if you look back at my YouTube and on my Ask Yafini show, I spoke about us recognizing the importance of seeing that God had a plan. The universal energy had a plan for us. This was a time for us to go turn around, to go in. And what I actually said was that the children, some of the children, some of the adults, we were living in a world, in a place where we did not even like our jobs. We didn't like our families. We spent more time working, our children going to school. We didn't know them. Many of you didn't know your children, your grandchildren. They get up, they're gone on their way. We were just in this, like a little gerbil, just going around in a maze, thinking that we're getting out of this. And so what I intuited and came to me is that the children who at night were crying, where's my father? Where's my mother? I can never see them when they come home from 8 hours of of working. They come home, all they want to do is just chill and to sleep. The children are like, I need to connect with you. Something that was poignant to me was during the shutdown of 2021, I was walking down the beach. I was living in Alameda at the time. And it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And this man was walking with his son. And he had his arms around him. And they were talking and laughing. And I was like, I wonder, when was the last time he walked with his father at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? The schools were locked down, so he was home. The father was obviously working from the computer. This was life-changing. Little things like that is what I was glimpsing. And I was like, that's what it is. These children's crying at night for their parents. And the parents saying, I hate my job. I'm working hard to give my children what they need, but I'm never there. And so between those two, praying at night, or not even calling it a prayer, just thinking and expressing it, that went to the ears of God. And God said, you know what? I need to get this shut down. We were doing some things that were just unbelievable, choosing and doing the things that were just unheard of. And so in spirit, answering to our call, I remember the after we stopped, when we started the distancing, I noticed that the flowers were brighter because we didn't have the pollution of the family, 2 or 3 cars leaving every day out of the same destination, going to the same destination. And so that was very eye-opening for me, in that there were so many people that had stopped driving. And for once, the flowers were able to breathe. Those were the things. And if you look back at the YouTube that I did when the pandemic started, that's what I said that gave me the idea, the concept that God was telling us to sit our little selves down, face the wall. Like in school, we would put the children in timeout where they were misbehaving and they were not cooperating with the intentions of the class. And the teacher said, go to the corner, face the wall. And when you've learned how to work with the group, or when you learn the lesson that I was trying to teach you, in that you have to work with each other, you have to cooperate. When you learn that lesson, then you can come out. So we went in for an entire year. We had to turn to the wall, ask ourselves, what can I do differently? Not to shame and blame yourself, but take responsibility. What can I do differently? And so many families, a lot of families went through separations, divorces, all types of things. We've had loss, we've had death, we've had all types of calamities. And so in facing the wall and having the universal timeout, all of us were like little bad children. That the universe says you need to face the wall, go within, and see how you can change your life financially, emotionally, socially, spiritually. And from out of that, we have learned so much. We have changed so much over this past year from 2021 to now 2022. And so coming out of the universal timeout, I realized this is a period of the turn around. So I'm now calling this the season of the turnaround. We can now turn around from the corner, turn around, and ready to say to the world, this is what I learned while I was facing the wall. Like you would when you're in first grade or second grade, and the teacher says, turn around, look to the wall, and figure out what it is that you need to do when you want to come back into the group. And if you come back into the group and you have not learned, then you have to go back again. So many of us have had to come out of it with new ideas, new plans, new relationships, changes that were massive. Sometimes they were changes that you never understood, will probably never understand. But we are here. We're at the turnaround. So the universe, it says, turn around, come out of the corner, and let me see what you learned. For me, it was a very challenging time, because I have been always used to doing things according to my plan, according to this, according to anticipating what is going to come out. It was like, no, lockdown time. And so for me, it was really, really, and I know for many of you, and if you want to come in and speak to it as I finish, I'm going to you just say that you want to come on and I will bring you in. I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to learn tonight. If you want to come in, because I don't know how to handle the chat and as well as the speaking. And so for me, I have, one of the things that I know for sure now is that I have a different appreciation for time. I have a different appreciation for time. When I say my time and it's God's time, some of you have lost friends, relationships. People have walked away from me. Dear, dear relationships have walked away, have turned into a different direction. And what I learned is that when people walk away from you, they are actually working, God is working through them to let you know that there's more for you, or there's different for you, and a different walk and a different way. And so our biggest challenge is for our ego to feel and tell ourselves negative things, that I'm not good enough, or there are bad people and I'm good people. No, 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 no. You thank God and you say, thank you. Because from that, you recognize, for me, I've exploded into a different understanding since many relationships have changed with me this year, last year, and coming to end this year. That's what I'm celebrating tonight. I'm going to 2 parties, not 1, but 2, to bring in this turnaround, to recognize that one thing I know for sure is that whenever you meet an opposition, it is God's expansion for you. God is expanding for you. And that when you are thinking that you have the plan and the idea and how it's going to go, God is like, wait. You are more. You are bigger. I have a greater expansion. Don't hide yourself under any bush. Know that I am the owner of all of the bushes. This has been a phenomenally good year for me. Some of you have seen me. I've just gone like I was in 2011 when I first started doing YouTube, and that I have expanded. I have 7 different classes going, and I'm paying a staff of 7 different people who are handling these classes. I never knew I could do that. In the midst of the pandemic, I was like about having a nervous breakdown, because I was just so afraid. Living alone in California in my own apartment, I was afraid that something would happen and no one would be able to come and see me. Remember, that was the time we were arguing about toilet paper and who could get sanitizers. There were sanitizers limits, and it was nerve-wracking. So I trusted God and changed and said, I got to be more than this. This is not what my life said it would be, one of fear. Because you can't have fear at the same place as faith. So in removing those, moving and expanding, amazing. I've done 3 initiations. I've done endless programs with my rites of passage. Unbelievable. At one time, I even thought that I was losing my sight out of fear, feeling that I could not do anymore. So I know that many of you were facing those kinds of fears and those kinds of things. And y'all know, if you follow me, and those of you that subscribe to me and have subscribed to me over the years, thank you very much. I am always transparent. I'm like, look, let me tell you what's going on with me, because hopefully somebody will do a prayer for me, or somehow I will get the moment to understand, wait a minute, you could do this differently. You have different choices. And people are encouraging me, and y'all are constantly letting me know that the work that I'm doing has value. That is great. But what I've learned this year is I have to honor myself and say, job well done. I remember every time that I would have a show or something, I would ask somebody, how did I do? This year, I look at myself after I do any program, and I'm like, you did your best. You did your best. You are awesome, Yaya Fini. And for me, those of you that know me on a personal level, there are things that we always battle with: insecurity, feeling not good enough, and because sometimes we play those things that have been told to us from childhood, and we have to undo them. This year, I undid all of them, if there's such a word. It's undone. I praise and honor myself because I know God walks with me. Because the choices that I've made this year and the choices that y'all have made this year, I know you know that God walks with you. Some of you have lost loved ones, and you're asking yourself, how horrible can this be? And some of you have realized that, you know what? Someone passing in my family, I have the memory of them to hold on to either decide I'm going to be different or honor them in the way that they did their best. Many of us have done all types of things in a way of pushing through this universal timeout. It's time to come out now. It's time to get to know that God, the spirit of the universe, whatever you want to call it, Olodumare, Buddha, Allah, Jesus, Jehovah, Olodumare, whatever name you call it by, you know what you know in this turnaround is that there's room for expansion. There's no limit to the amount of wealth that there is. Many of you have completely changed your spiritual practices. You've enhanced your life. You've added new things to your life, new systems to your life. God is good. God is good. God has given us, just as God has brought that we downloaded the need for us to be in timeout, God has turned us around. So this is my period of calling the turnaround. 360 degrees, as Crystal is saying. Yes, crystal clear water. 360, I have changed completely. So relying on someone saying, how is that? How is this? No. When I walk into any platform now, be it on a computer or in person, I know that I've done my best. And that's all we can hold ourselves accountable. Doing your best, and God will do the rest. Doing your best. And knowing that whatever happens to us, it's because it's the orchestration and God trying to expand us into being better and more access to God's knowledge and wisdom. God always has a bigger plan. We always are thinking that when we are doing great things, that is because we are great and because we're smart and because we're intelligent. No, it's because God is pushing us and relying on us to be its expression on the planet. We can't continue listening to negative replays in our heads. We have to step out now with this turnaround point of our lives. Turn around and step into everything that you thought you could do and some of the things that you imagined that you couldn't do. Think about that. I pay 7 people and still looking for a personal assistant. I never thought I could do that. So you can do it. If little 5'2" me with a size 6.5 shoe, I can do this coming out of all of the negative things that I've been told that because I'm this and because I'm not. Believing it, you can do this. You have the potential to be more than me. Step out. Step out and do. Some of you have started your own feeding ministry. Some of you have become chefs. Some of you have become online teachers. Some of you have started workshop facilitators. Some of you are Reiki masters, Reiki practitioners. Some of you have passed the divination test. Some of you have opened up your own business. And the beautiful thing about it that I love is that many of you have now seen the worth and the value of having your children at home with you, where you are creating not 7 hours of someone else's programming them to be less than they are, but you're right there to encourage them and connect them to the vastness of their destiny, of their potential. Nothing and no one can stop us from being great. So get out there. Get out there and whatever you know, if it's just a little bit, give it that little bit to someone else and someone else and someone else and expand it. Expand it. That's all we can do. Most of the things that give us setbacks are distractions. Things that distract us from our vision for ourselves. Like you say, oh, I can never do this. Oh, but you get up and when you're a young child, you feel like one day I'm going to do this. But then we get distracted because we're believing some of the things that have been either plating in our minds, or we're looking around and believing that someone else has the success that you will aspire. So there's not enough for you, or somebody else is smarter than you, or somebody is bigger than you. No. The same day God made you, made me, and made everybody else. So get out there, push yourself. Push yourself. You came out of the timeout. Give yourself some credit. Every morning, wake up. I look in the mirror and I see a no extra wrinkle down here. I'm like, ooh, some more wisdom is showing. And in those moments, I feel insecure. I put something up here if I need to. But then I say, you know what? You are so pretty. I tell myself that every day. I remember this is something new. People would say to me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, really? I tell myself that you are great. You are beautiful. You are gorgeous. You are smart. I remember in high school, because I was taking an academic course, because, you know, you can either take a general academic or commercial in high school in New York. And I just took an academic because I'm just, well, maybe one day I'll go to college. Really, I didn't want to. I wanted to be a mom, a mother of 9 children. It ended up with 3, which was glorious. And so I remember doing typing, and I was the slowest person in the typing. And so I was doing like 17 words a minute. And I would see these other people going, throwing the typewriter. I'm dating myself here with the typewriter. And I was like, well, and the teacher came over to me. I'll never forget. I got a 17, not a 70, a 17 on the test, on the final. She says, you know what? You need to just find somebody to marry you, because you're not going to make it in the business world. Yes. So those kinds of things, you know, telling me that I would be great. I would not be able to run my business. And I've always wanted to be a designer. And then I wanted to open a gallery, because I was an art major in college, and I wanted to open a gallery, and I love clothes. And the woman told me, no, honey, get somebody to marry you and let you become somebody's missus, and she's the Mrs. So-and-so, and she will take care, because you don't have it. You don't have it. Don't let those things that people tell you be your reality. Unlearn them by getting up every morning and say, you are beautiful. I love this. You are gorgeous. You're phenomenal. You're brilliant. You're a child of God. God is working through you for the best of humanity. That's the one thing that I know, the turnaround that we have to do. That should be our mantra. I am great. I am beautiful. Because when you say that, you're giving God credit for being the originator of your concept. So it's okay to pour libation in the morning and do all of the sacrifices and do the tools and all of that. But in it, you don't find yourself being God's reward for everyone that meets you. We got to change this. So in turning around, we got to come out of that, knowing that we can't afford to be distracted. We cannot afford to be distracted, because when we are distracted, we deprive the world of what it is God is working through us to give to the universe. Get out there every morning looking good and find something to say good about everybody that you see. You know, if you take any of my classes, my concept is always everything that shows up to you, good, bad, or indifferent, is God's expression of it pushing you to be a little more. The dog is biting you. You're like, oh my God, you end up going to the hospital, finding your mate. That's a story that I had. I'm doing the short version of it, you know? Or you're finding that it's raining and you want to get out of the car and you're like, oh God, I know I'm going to get wet. Or either you say, you know what, I'm just going to sit here and see how long. And there comes somebody with an umbrella. You want to ride? You want to walk with me? Those things happen. That's God. That's not coincidence. God is working through the miracle of love and the miracle of kindness and the miracle of helping someone. And when you tell yourself, like for me, my children were initiated into the priesthood early and they're not past following this path as much as I have. And sometimes I say, what kind of example are you setting if your own children are not in with it? And I realize, wait a minute. Don't tell yourself that you're not good enough or something is wrong with them. Everyone has to do their own path. And acknowledging that sets you free. It has set me free to just acknowledge that everybody has the right to do what makes sense to them. Everyone. So embrace everything that you see as an expression of the divine, of an expression of God coming to you and saying, I'm coming to push you or to encourage you or to show you a new way to do different things. It's just like when you're going one road and you get lost and you come to find out, oh my God, look at what I found by going this different way. I found a new situation. I found a new park. I found new friends, whatever. Or you go around the corner and then you realize, wow, I'm seeing how God took me around here, because had I gone there, I would have got caught up in that traffic. Or I could have had an accident, and there's an accident right there. Or you forget your keys and you're trying to go get out the house, and then you're 5 minutes you're lost because you're looking for this. And then you say, oh my God, look at that. That is God sending you those little things. It is that obvious. God is so interested in everything. And like I said, God could be Olodumare or Batala in your head, Allah, Buddha, Jehovah, whoever it is that make you feel that you're connected to source. That's who I'm talking about when I say God. And I say goddess, and I'm saying Obatala, and whatever it is that the energy that you know that you feel most connected to, that's what we're talking about. In those little teeny weeny things, we got to give ourselves credit for that. We got to give credit to ourselves because we are an expression of the divine. We chose this path, and whether that's your belief that you chose it or God made you or whatever it is, the fact that you're here, that's significant. So there's room for you to say something kind to someone. You may be that voice that person needed in that moment to hear. You're so pretty. I love your shoes. I love your dog. Anything that sometimes we get so wrapped up in ourselves. I'm not going to say that because they might think I'm crazy. Do it. And you will see, do to others and it will be done to you. And that moment when you feel so insecure and frightened and uncertain, God will show up with the perfect situation, perfect words. Today I had a situation that I have to give God credit for. I mean, Eshu was waiting for me to help me. I was driving to Charlotte and in trying to change from one median, because I was supposed to go right and I went left, and I was like, no, I'm not going to go all the way around. So I'm just going to stop in the middle by the median where both traffics are flowing, and there's that little V. And I stopped in there and boop, boop. Somehow I ran over a piece of concrete, and I'm like, oh my God. Okay. When the lane opened up, I went on and I came on and I was fine. I was fabulous, having a wonderful time. So as I'm driving and I try to back up, I went to get some juice because, I'm still doing the fast, the juice fast. And as I went to get some juice, I heard the car going, well, the front of the bumper, underneath it, there's something that holds it up from getting ice and all of that stuff. That fell down. And so I'm driving, and when I backed up, I heard, and I said, oh my goodness, there's something wrong with the car from when I bumped it from underneath, when I picked it up with the concrete. So I called a friend and said, do you have a mechanic to just look under my car? I get under, and she says, yes. So she says, okay, bring the car over to my shop. And she went over to her shop And Jackie, I mean, at the Enchanted Hive, she was so sweet. She said, "Come on, I have a mechanic." He said, "Meet me over there." I get over to the man. I mean, to the thing. The mechanic, spiritual brother, was just amazing. His energy was fantastic. He came in, he looked at the car. He says, "Okay, I know exactly what it is. I'm going to go." While we are talking, this gentleman walks into the store, and just what I have been asking for showed up. This man does commercials. That's what I said last week in my intention is I need someone to do commercials for me for the new set of classes that I'm having and that I'm doing this new year. And I'm going back to Blog Talk Radio as I used to. I'm having a regular feature on Blog Talk Radio. I'm having a children's program. I'm doing a lot of things this new year that Obatala said that it would be a good idea for me to do. I'm using some of the old things that I have, just doing them in a different way. Here is the man that does their words came out. He says, "I do commercials." I said, "What? Look at that. Had I not bumped my car, this is not coincidence that I had to find a mechanic in Charlotte that does exactly what it is that I asked the universe for in my intention and my meditation." So now I have the person to promote me, to promote the things that I'm doing so that we can meet the needs of everyone who is trying to unlearn the dogma that we were taught. And so we can now appreciate African understanding of the blessing and the awareness and the power of ancient African practices. We have to unlearn some things. And so before we put new thing in, we have to unlearn. And that's what my classes are. It's always empowering the people to empower themselves and use this empowerment to change the world. And the way that I do it is with classes. So, because if you understand the foundation of what you're doing, then you have the right question to ask when you have doubts or when you have to have that moment to say, "Am I doing right?" Or if you need some more hope or you need more information versus just close your eyes and walk into this spiritual practice because you're afraid or that Oshun is going to get you. If you don't do it about the law. No. Find out your foundation. What is this faith? Who is this? What is this? Not by Googling, by attending classes where you could ask questions. And so that's why I have these classes and my free YouTube. For years, I've been doing these YouTubes and Blog Talk Radio. You can go on Spotify and get all of my old shows on all types of things. I even had a children's program on Google, on Blog Talk Radio, and that's coming back again, having the children doing classes and inspiring other children that have been through the rites of passage, the children's rites of passage. So those are the type of things. But talk about synchronicity. Somebody saying it's synchronicity. That is the universe. You say to the universe, "This is what I require." God says, "Okay, I'm taking you perfectly aligned to what it is that you needed." I ended up staying over there most of the afternoon. We hung out, we talked. I learned something about some herbs that I didn't even know. Look at God. And I'm thinking, I just bumped my bumper. No. Right there, the hand of God said, "You need to get a connection." So sometimes when we think that we're not getting the proper answers to the things that we are and that we are impatient. And I said, sometimes I'm impatient because I think it should go because I've done it so long. Let's line it up. Sometimes we're doing a buffering. You know how when you're trying to get to speak to someone and then somehow the connection goes and it's buffering? Sometimes that's all that is. That's buffering. So I had a little buffering today to connect to what it is that I needed to do. So I just give Obatala and all of the forces of nature, just thank you. So this 2021, let's thank this year for all that we've been through. We've learned a different way about funerals. We've learned a different connection to what it is to lose a loved one. We've had a connection to how do we meet someone just by coincidence. That's all divinely aligned. All divinely aligned. So I just want you, that was what I wanted to come on here today. And if any of you are asking, I think that there's a way that you can ask if you want to come in. I can bring you on if you want to talk and bring you on and we can have a conversation, because this is very important for us to know. We have now in the turnaround season of our life, the turnaround season of our life. Somebody said they went there. They love Jackie. She's amazing. That woman knows so much about herbs. It's amazing. Yes, at the Enchanted Hive. Enchanted Hive. This is our season of turnaround. This is our season of turnaround. We are no longer in the universal timeout. I know we're still having the numbers raising and that kind of thing, but we are not dying. So there are different antidotes that we're doing to turn it around. So I guess some of us are coming out, peaking. Some make a full turnaround, but this is a period of turnaround. Look at all that you've learned this year. Sit down tonight before 2022 begins and write down all the things that you're grateful for, all of the people that you met. When I look back this year, I gave 16 orishas this year. 16 shrines came from my shrine to enhance the life of other people. New students. And this is just little old me. Just me. I wouldn't have done that if people weren't saying, well, look, I'm ready to step up to what it is that I want to do. Yes, I'm ready for this. Or can you do this for me? Or a reading comes up and says, this is happening. Beautiful, beautiful. I met so many new people in the classes, new experiences. Oh, I just give thanks for 2021. I've had setbacks, but they were not setbacks. They were God's buffering. What I call is realigning. And I've had some glorious things. Some of the things that I had big plans for, they did not realize as big as I thought. And some of the things that I thought were going to be small ended up just being humongous. So thank you, everyone, for remembering that you are no longer in the universal time out. This is time to turn around and share the wisdom, share the gifts, share the power that you know you have. Because when you were quiet and you had nothing else to do, if it was fear, if it was hopelessness, if it was telling yourself negative things, that got you out. Because in that moment when you were feeling like that, God was just right there saying, okay, let me show you a different way. And you grabbed onto it. So give yourselves kudos for that. Give yourself a round of applause that you are now on this side. You are turned around. God, Jehovah, Olodumare, Jesus, Yehweh, Hare Krishna, whoever you believe as the source, is your source. It's what gives us the breath. It's what gives oxygen and what gives all of the things for the animals, the rain, to give the flowers, the sun that is shining. That's what we're thanking. Thank yourself. Give yourself a round of applause and upliftment. Many people have started their own business. I'm looking at someone right now that she started her own business. So get out there. Be bold and know that God has not abandoned you. Your ancestors have not abandoned you. This COVID is not going to last forever. It's nothing lasts forever. My mother, who is soon to be, may God be, God's willing, will be 102 in February. And she says, this thing is really hard. She said, but I remember when polio was the same thing. She said, I lost friends to polio. We never experienced that. So she's like, okay, the only thing that makes her feel sad is because she is not able to come to see and have hugs from her family members. But in terms of being locked down and being in curfew and all of that, my mother's been through that. And she says, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. So know that this is not going to last forever. This is a new year coming in. The turnaround. Enjoy yourself tonight. Do something celebratory. Whatever it is that makes you feel good. Dance by yourself. Sit at your shrine. Whatever makes sense to you. Do it in celebration of 2021, that everything that 2021 gave you. Do not look with it in despair or cursing it, and it could have been better and not. No, it is. It was and will always be one of the most significant times of our lives, where everything that was happening was because of what was told to us in the media. And we followed it. And we are now on this side. We're now on this side. So give thanks. Give thanks. And for those of you in the chat, thank you so much. As I said, I can't do the chat and the and the talking at the same time. That's the next thing that's coming is my personal assistant that lives close by and they can come. I'm looking for a personal assistant. I'm also looking for a housekeeper. So if you in the Charlotte, Winston-Salem area, give me a call at, what is it? Yayafini at bellsouth.net. Send me an email. Yes, I'm taking interviews. Yes, I need an assistant that is right there in the area that can come in 2 days a week, and I don't pay chicken feed, okay? We want the quality. And so I'm looking for someone that can do that, as well as a housekeeper who can come in and, help me with lifting the buckets. Thank you so much, everyone. I love it. I've learned so much this year. And one of the biggest challenges for me is to wait on God's clock. Wait on God's clock. Because it ain't over till the fat lady sings and she's on a diet. Thank you. I love you all. Imani Newsome, Coach Robin, Bedina Davis, Bliss B, Crystal Clearwater, Iwatopwe, Aquarian God, Yellow Lion Heart, Ekale, Empress Naja. I mean, if I had an assistant, they would be sitting here doing all of this, okay? So have y'all self a nice night. Celebrate. One lady was asking, a friend of mine, she's in Panama, and she says, I don't know what I'm going to wear for my alone party tonight. I was like, go naked. Go naked. Take off your clothes, dance, do whatever you need to do. I'm going to 2 parties because I'm bringing it in. I'm wearing my mask. I got 2 slamming outfits that I'm going to put on. Yes, I'm going to give pictures because I have to celebrate 2021 for all the losses that I've had, that all the people that are no longer with me, and all the new people that I've met since September. Oh my God, this is like, it's like a highway. People leaving, people coming. And that's what it is when you are a custodian of the culture. Sometimes we get attached and feel that, we got to hold on to folk. No. Season, reason, or lifetime that people come into your life and know that that's God. God is taking them on a bigger version of themselves and you at the same time. Isn't that glory? That is glory. That is like, ekuche. When people leave you or abandon you or walk away from you, some of them just cuss you out. Whatever it is, know that God is giving them their blessings too, because it's time for them to move and it's time for you to move. When you have lost your business and you're not working and you're feeling, oh my God, what am I going to do? Am I going to pay my way? Something always comes up. Someone will tell you, okay, this might look like a downgrade, but while you're doing that little downgrade, you meet someone else and boom, it expands, right? You have to move. I had to move, transport all of my things cross country, pay it, lost some of it. Some of it came broke up. And I was like, why did I bring this anyway? Abandon ship, leave it. God is bringing better and bigger. Yes, this is what this is about. The turn around is you have earned the right to come out of the corner and come back into the classroom and play with everyone else. So give yourself a nice round of applause that now you can sit back at the desk with your friends or get back. Okay, so muchísimas gracias para todos mis amigos que estuvieron conmigo en el año 2021, que vamos a empezar 2022 esta noche. Bendiciones para todos mi familia, mis alumnos. Por todas partes del mundo le deseo muchísimas felicidades este año que viene y muchísimas gracias para el año 2021. Gracias. Thank you, everyone. And I'll try my little pidgin. Yoruba, inumi dun. Fumbobo hunki awon orisha. Fumini ati tojumi ati fumini alafia ki nisisi mofe soro adupwe fu odun 2021 ati modupwe fu 2022 ki awa wa ati awa feri. So that's my pidgin Yoruba. So thank you, everybody. I love you. I love you too much. I love you so much. I've been on this 30 minutes. So is no one else saying they want to join in? If they did, I don't know how to put them in anyway. So I will see you all tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. I'm going to be doing the reading of the year with my priests. And then as soon as we can write them up, then I'll put them up on my website. So have a blessed evening and party. Yes, yes, bring it in. Thank you, 2021. Thank you, 2021. Oh, that will. Love you. Now, how do I turn this off? Oh, Graceful Goddess says, I love you too. Journeyman, it's a lot of people saying good stuff. Emperor, y'all know I love all of y'all. Now I just have to know how to turn this thing off. Okay, Odabo. The last time my grandson had to say, yeah, it's time to go. End the video. View it live archive, Discord video, share video. I'm still trying to say goodbye on the Instagram. Don't forget, y'all, to get my CD. 2021 with gratitude. Okay, there. Post. I'm hoping that's right. And then I come over here. Look at me trying to do connections. Okay, bye. Oh, that one.